the PDP until he defected around 2014 thereabout to the APC, and he was part of the frontline members of the APC that led the APC to victory in the 2015 general election. And since then, he has had a running battle with the current governor of the state, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, who is of the PDP. And since 2015, there has been no love lost between both camps, that's the PDP and the APC. But sadly, the rumble about inspection of or getting certified true copy of documents from INEC, I think is totally uncalled for. For you to get a certified true copy of documents for INEC, you must come armed with a court order, with a court permission. So I don't think it is right for anybody or any party to debar another party from exercising its right as guaranteed under the law. A political party cannot just approach INEC and say you must give us a copy of your certified true copy of materials. How the law permits INEC to have done that at the election stage, at the polling stations, at the ward level, at the ward collation center, at the local government collation center, as well as at the state collation center. So if you are looking for any other document, you need a court, a court order to do that. So if a party has gotten a court order to go and inspect, and another party is, debarring such a party, I don't think that is democratic. That must be condemned. If any party wants to access INEC materials, they know what to do according to law. It does not speak well of our democracy for people to come and debar a person or a party that has been granted access by law, because we operate a constitutional democracy and it behoves on all of us to play according to the rules. And what are the rules? The rules are that we must comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act as well as the Constitution in conducting our affairs. In that way, we'll be able to prevent breakdown of law and order. We'll be able to prevent animosity that could ensue between parties and as well as individuals. So for me, the Buhari in Rivers State is not doing our democracy any good. It's a sad commentary on our democracy, and we cannot but at this junction call on all parties to respect the Constitution.
Since you've mentioned democracy, let's now talk about that, because while both parties, were seeking access to certified true copies of election documents, a clash broke out on Tuesday, at the Port Harcourt office of the electoral body INEC, where someone allegedly died. Now, couldn't that face-off have been avoided? Because
opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is
Hello and welcome to News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. We begin in Kaduna State. Female student of Government Secondary School, Awon Kachia local government area of Kaduna, have escaped from the abductors' den. Announcing details of their escape in a statement on Tuesday, the State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, said the students escaped from the kidnappers' den after spending almost 14 days with their captors in a thick forest bordering Kaduna and Niger states. Aruwan added that the students were currently receiving medical attention at a military facility in the metropolis. Exactly 1 month after the March 18 governorship elections, Governor Amadu Fintiri has been announced winner of what some might describe a drama-filled supplementary election in Adamawa State. In last Saturday's rerun, Fintiri, the candidates of the People's Democratic Party, polled 9,337 votes, besting Aishatu Dahiru of the All Progressives Congress, APC, who scored 6,513 votes. At the end of the entire exercise on Tuesday, the returning officer Mele Lamido declared that Fintiri polled 430,861 votes, defeating Binani with 396,788 votes.
Dahiru Ahmed Aishatu, APC, 396,788, 396,788. Sholi Yahya Abga, 892, 892. Babajo Bello, APM, 606, 606. Adam Abdulkadir Isa, APP, 286, 286. Mustafa Umar Madawaki, LP, 2,732, 2732. Muhammad Chibadu Saad Tahir, NNPP, 4,852, 4852. Abba Liu, 1272. Umaru Ahmadu Fintiri, PDP, 430,861. 861. Baba Inna Ibrahim, PRP, 1,188, 1188. Arpo Umar, SDP, 6,870, 6870. Maigana Ismaila Musa, YPP, 1,431, 1431. Dadu Amron, ZLP, 200, 200. That Umaru Ahmadu Fintiri of PDP, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and
Incumbent governor and governor-elect of Adamawa State, Amadu Fintiri, has expressed his support for the prosecution of the alleged perpetrators of what he describes as the criminality behind the drama that played out at the governorship rerun. The governor said the perpetrators decided to be enemies of democracy without considering how excellently well his administration had performed in Adamawa State. According to him, residents of the state voted for continuity and what he describes as excellent rural and urban infrastructure.
Of Adamawa State, today we are at a point where history is made. It is made because of you. It is made because you reaffirm your willingness to support the good works we have started in Adamawa State. It is made because we have reached a consensus that Adamawa State must work. It is made because we have collectively agreed that we desire a better Adamawa State that is lifted from the depths of despair to the great heights of hope. With the belief that, well, each of us will pursue our own individual dreams. We are an Adamawa family, and out of this family, each of us is at liberty to aspire to any height without any human hindrance. Welcome to the Adamawa State of our dreams. Here we decide the fate of our governance by ourselves. Fellow citizens, what we also was a flagrant display of desperation, deliberate impunity and crass opportunism, which is surrounded by a whole web of uncertainty. In the mix of all this, as your leader, I remain calm and appeal for same from you. I call for appreciatively hearken to. Once again, you have brought out our stoic and Spartan spirit as Adamawa people to bear. For this, I can't thank you enough. Thank you and thank you again. Fellow students, you did all this for us. You did all this for democracy. You did all this for their state. You did all this for the present generation and perhaps the generation yet unborn.
Well, still on Adamawa politics, the governorship candidates of the All Progressives Congress APC in the state, Aisha Binani Dahiru, has denied bribing an official of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) amid irregularities. The state's REC, Hudu Yunusa Ari of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) had declared Binani as the winner when the results from some local government areas had not been announced. While denying allegations of bribery, Dahiru described herself as a committed Democrat, not a do-or-die politician who would do anything to subvert the democratic process. While still in politics, National Executive Council of the Labour Party has suspended some members of its National Working Committee (NWC), including factional National Chairman Lamidi Apapa and 7 other party members for alleged anti-party activities. In a communique on Tuesday, the party's NEC said it took the decision following recommendations after examining the activities of affected members. The suspension of Apapa comes weeks after Justice Hamza Muazu of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory issued an order temporarily restricting Julius Abure from parading himself as a national chairman of the party. Aggrieved unions made up of the National Union of Air Transport Employees, the Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, the National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers, and the Association of Nigerian Aviation Professionals resumed day two of their warning strike action on Tuesday. They are protesting against what they described as unpalatable working conditions and payment of outstanding entitlements by the federal government. Our correspondent Tamilore Akinkoule has the details in this report.
Activities were once again grounded at the Murtala Mohammed Airport on Tuesday as aviation workers under the umbrella of 5 unions returned to the streets to express their dissatisfaction over their working conditions and mode of operations. Carrying flags and chanting solidarity songs, the members staged the walk from the local to the international wing of the airport. Top of the list on the demands is the improvement of condition of service for their workers.
It isn't that the unions are not talking. It isn't that the unions have not given avenue for discourse. We have done all of this. We have explored all avenue to get these issues resolved. But it's as if somebody somewhere is not doing his job. And knowing fully well that the aviation industry is a sensitive sector. So we have workers there. We are human beings. You cannot be working without conditions of service. Then after that comes the issue of demolition. Demolishing the various operational offices in Lagos. I mean, what are we going to take out of this? So this is why we have issued a 2-day warning strike, expecting some of the issues to be looked into. The various documents, various management have done all they needed to do. They have done the needful. Now the documents are in Wages Commission, the National Salaries and Incomes Wages Commission. We are appealing to them, let them release our condition of service.
The protesters also lamented the federal government's continuous neglect of aviation workers and failures to meet their demands.
All these problems should have not been coming if there have been, for the past 7 years, governing board of directors in all the parastatals, none. We challenge the Minister of Aviation because the Buhari administration nominated this board, but he refused to inaugurate them. Why? To perpetuate corruption. We challenge him, even to an open debate. This is the issue that we are fighting. Secondly, he said they should relocate without providing adequate atmosphere.
Non-payment of outstanding arrears and consequential adjustment by the federal government are part of the challenges of the aviation workers.
I want to appeal to the president, that's Major General Muhammadu Buhari, that he should please give an executive order to attend to all these problems. And I know that all these struggles here and there will cease henceforth. But because some people, some cabals are blocking these messages from getting to him, that's why he has not acted.
As the two-day strike of the aviation union comes to an end, airport activities are expected to resume fully as from tomorrow. The aviation union believes and hopes that this time around the government will listen and their needs will be met. Tamilore Akinkolye, TV360 Nigeria.
Administrators and management of university campuses in Nigeria have been charged in continuous partnership with chaplains and chapels in order to produce responsible men and women for a better society. Members of the Association of Nigeria University Chaplains who made the call at the University of Lagos during the 25th annual conference of the ANUC themed Biblical Principles of Marriage and Ministry in the time like this said the theme for the Silver Jubilee was a strategic one at a time where the current situation of campuses in Nigeria have effects on the society.
You will know that we are in a peculiar environment, student environment, where you have a lot of ladies, a lot of girls, and from the secular side of it, you begin to hear of sexual harassment and all of that. These are people that are bubbling with energy. They are, in the prime of their lives in terms of energy. The scripture says that the pride of the youth or the strength is in their strength. So they have so much energy, and if they put themselves into anything, then you can be sure that it's going to be buster. It's going to be, it's going to be with so much vigor. And when you are able to tap this energy to the right, and of course you will get the best of it also. It is only when it is channeled toward the wrong direction. So the ministry of the chaplains and the association at large is to checkmate this negative tendency, to ensure that this energy, they are tapped at the right time, into the right directions. And I think that so far so good. We are getting positive results.
ANOC has come to stay. Being the 25 years that we have been in operation in the university, ANOC has come to stay and to collaborate with all universities authority to build students up in characters and in collaboration in learning.
A Nigerian-based voluntary medical organization, the Cleft and Facial Deformity Foundation, CFDF, has organized an oral cancer training for medical practitioners and members of the public. The one-day oral cancer training with the theme The Use of Artificial Intelligence in the Early Detection of Oral Cancer held in Abuja over the weekend. In collaboration with the University of Hong Kong, the event aims to create awareness about oral cancer among Nigerians and sensitize the populace about prevention of the scourge. Our correspondent Emeka Mako filed in this report.
Oral cancers are quite common. It is also the 11th most common cancer worldwide that occurs in the head and neck region. In Nigeria, the statistics is troubling as over 1,000 cases are recorded yearly, with a mortality rate of over 700 also recorded. As a solution, the Cleft and Facial Deformity Foundation has collaborated with the University of Hong Kong to develop a computer-based detection tool for Nigeria.
If I look into patient's mouth and I can see this patient has likely planus, or what we call leukoplakia, if I collect information from such a patient, I can enter into the system and it comes down. I submit and it comes down with the prediction, and I can look you in the face and tell you you are developing oral cancer in another 7 years.
Our poor survival rate is often linked to late presentation of patients to the hospitals. Stakeholders say local communities are severely underserved in terms of oral health personnel.
We are training our community health workers. Because go to communities, there are no oral health workers there. Everybody wants to come to the town. There are no dentists in the communities. They all come to the town, Abuja, Lagos, but in our rural communities where these things are prevalent, we don't have. So Ministry of Health is going to the communities now to train them so that these people will be able to recognize early signs of all these cancers and nomas and advise and probably refer to the main hospitals where dentists can now take up.
The use of tobacco and alcohol in various forms is the major known risk factor of oral cancer. Another concern among the youth is the perverse ways of sexual behaviors. Added to these is the fear of stigmatization, which fuels late presentation of oral cancer cases in hospitals.
These days, some young people don't even smoke again. They use what they call e-smoking. They use some other gadget that they call glass chambers. Some of them are called shisha. They are still dangerous. There's this virus that they call the human papilloma virus. People call it HPV. It's a known carcinogen. It is established at the cervical region. It's almost 100% the cause of cervical cancer. In the oropharyngeal region, it has been linked to the etiology of oral cancer.
All of us who have participated today are going to be champions to end this, because we cannot see everybody who is having, whether it's cancer or the cleft face or whatever. So this stigmatization is a thing of the mind. Since we know it's not an infectious thing that will be, transmitted, we need to now begin to tell our own partners, our own family members, our neighbors, your colleagues in your profession, in the church, whoever you meet, that no, don't react like that. It is not anything.
The survival of oral cancer is poor. Less than 50% of patients are alive after 5 years, but early detection increases the chances of survival to 80%. And with the new oral health policy to be launched by the federal government in November, there is hope that incidences related to oral cancer would decline.
The National Industry Board in Lagos has nullified the appointment of an ad hoc committee put in place by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to run the affairs of the Employers Association of Nigeria in the state and reinstated the elected leadership of the union. In September 2022, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu had ordered the immediate suspension of all activities of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria in the state. In a judgment, Justice Maureen Esowe held that the move by the Lagos State government in suspending the national union's operations in the state and setting up a caretaker committee is illegal and unconstitutional. The court also restrained the state government from further interfering with the operations of the union's exco. We'll take a break now. I'll be back with more stories. Stay with us.
A free access
how in practice president must see himself as the president of the federal. We know where the enemy Lake Chad and came in, and then you can be supported.
On TV360, give you a complete diluted truth.
I haven't believed what the people say in this part of the world. The Nigeria is possible. The future is possible.
Without these issues dissected, you can understand it. Use it.
Need for any government to look for one for ranching.
TV360 dissect the issues.
Hello? Yeah. Of a supermarket. At
at 20% of adults in 43 years have gotten their first bivalent vaccine dose. We'll take a break with more stories as the entertainment to status. Redesigned Syrian, the currency circulation in the country had dipped by 235.03% to 982 billion naira at the end of February from 3.29 trillion naira at the end of October 2022. Figures obtained from the CBN reveal that 2.3 trillion naira was mopped up from circulation during the period on review. Oil drifted lower on Wednesday as the markets weighed potential interest rate hikes from the Federal Reserve that could slow growth and of certain falling U.S. inventories and strong Chinese economic data. Brent crude futures shed 7 cents to $84 a barrel, with West Texas Intermediate crude down 5 cents to $80 a barrel. Meanwhile, markets are pricing an 86% chance the Fed raises rates by 25 basis points at the May meeting. To the foreign scene now, over 14,000 people have been arrested and 8,000 weapons seized in an anti-firearms operation across Central and South America by Interpol. In a statement on Tuesday, the France-based police cooperation body said the raid swept up over 2,200 tons of cocaine and other drugs worth $5.7 billion, as well as 370 tons of drug precursors. The body said its actions, funded by the European Union, had helped uncover other crimes, including corruption, fraud, human trafficking, environmental crime, and terrorist activities. Well, up next is Entertainment Reporter News Now.
Nigerian singer Davido has confirmed that there would be a deluxe version to his recently released studio album Timeless. The singer hosted a press conference to address his forthcoming concert to perform his new album for the first time in Nigeria at a Flower Square on April 23, 2023. Confirming that the concert was going to be a timeless night for his fans, Davido also disclosed that there will be a deluxe version to his fourth studio album, which will be released later in the year, and encourages fans to look forward to more great songs. Nollywood actor Kule Remi has reacted to his absence from the nomination list for the African Magic Viewers' Choice Award 2023. This is coming after the actor's name was noticeably missing from the nomination list for the prestigious awards. The actor's exclusion from the nomination list has since sparked outrage online, with some claiming that it was deliberately neglected. Sharing a video of himself on his Instagram page displaying humor and positivity, Remi appreciated his fans for their content while congratulating his colleagues and friends who got nominated. That's it in the entertainment segment of News Now.
And now to sports. Nigeria's top-ranked table tennis player Aruna Quadri suffered a first-round defeat in the hands of Olympic champion and home favorite Ma Long at the ongoing World Table Tennis Championship in Macau, China. It is the second time that the Nigerian would be defeated in the first round of the championship. The 34-year-old had crashed out of the WTI champions Xi Jian in the first round last week after losing 3-0 to Taipei's Lin Yunju. With the loss, Quadri misses out on the $800,000 pool prize money and 1,000 world ranking points. That's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.
free. Facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world. A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it. Use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
News of the past week. Joining me to do that, as always, is my trusty sidekick and newscaster, Yetunde Afolabi. Yetunde, how are you today?
Good morning, Dayo. I'm very well, thank you.
A very fine morning to you too. How was your weekend?
My weekend was relaxing.
Wonderful. Everything's running smoothly in Nigeria now. We've got cash in our pockets. There's no fuel queues. Elections are done and dusted. Well, we're sitting pretty, aren't we?
Yes, we are. We can't complain.
You can't complain at all. Lovely indeed. And we wish it could always be like that, that everything is rolling copacetically and nice and simply. All right, Nigeria, what do we have for you this week on our show? As always, I start with a little bit of light news for you. Yesterday in Adamawa State, we had a situation of, yes, we've got our first female governor. And then, no, hold on, no, we don't. Yes, we do. No, we don't. And there was some back and forth, and it was a mess. I mean, we got a declaration that says we've got our first female governor. We got an acceptance speech. And then all of a sudden, hold on, hold your horses, put the brakes on. There's suddenly a nullification of the declaration. It sounds very complicated. But fortunately for you all, you are very lucky. I have a legal mind, a legal brain in the studio with me today who's going to tell you all about the legalities of what happened in Adamawa State yesterday. The other thing I wanted to also tell you about is this football player in PSG, a team in France, who got married some time ago, earned a whole bucket load of money, and ended up in divorce court with his wife. And the court ended up ruling. The wife claimed half of his property in the divorce proceedings, and the court ruled that she wouldn't get anything because it turned out that all the man's assets were in his mother's name. Can you imagine that? Well, I was scrolling through Twitter Street over the weekend looking at some of the comments, and the first thing I saw was people saying, well, how come he put the assets in his mother's name instead of his father's name? And the responses were, if he had given it to his father, in a moment of weakness, his father would have transferred them all to his side chick. Can you imagine that? Then there were others who said, if it were a Nigerian mother, she would sow it as a seed in her church. Twitter, you won't kill us. You won't kill us, Twitter children, Twitter Nigerians, you won't kill us. But thank you for the good humor and for the jocularity. We enjoy going through Twitter and seeing what Nigerians think about global issues. All right, so let's get on to the substantive and major stories after that light-hearted moment. Joining me to take a look at the big stories that made the headlines last week is Jide Ogundimu. Jide is a solicitor and advocate of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Jide was called to the Nigerian bar over 32 years ago. His firm, Jide Ogundimu & Co. Solicitors, deals with all aspects of law, including property conveyancing, landlord and tenant, estate and will planning, civil litigation, bad debts, private law, etc., etc. However, before I bring him on to discuss these issues with me, let's have Yetunde break down the news items for us, give them to us, then Jide and I will now engage on these various issues. So over to you, Yetunde. What do you have for us in the news today?
Adamawa rerun, pardon me. INEC suspends results collation over resident electoral commissioner's action in wrongly and prematurely declaring the APC candidates the winner. The biggest story of the week, which broke on Sunday, was that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has nullified the declaration of the All Progressives Congress, APC, governorship candidate in Adamawa State, Senator Aishatu Binani, as winner of the election. Results were still being expected from 10 local government areas when the REC, and not the returning officer, declared her the winner. Describing the action of the REC as usurpation, of the power of the returning officer, INEC faulted the declaration, saying it was null, void, and of no effect. It went on to suspend the collation exercise and summon the REC, the returning officer, and other involved officials to the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. Banana Island's 7-story building collapses. State government's alleged structure lacks permit. No fewer than 7 persons were rescued from the rubble of a 7-story building under construction that collapsed on Wednesday in the Banana Island area of Ikoyi, Lagos State. One dead body was recovered from the debris by Lagos State's Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, workers. The Lagos State's Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development has said that no approval was given for the construction of the collapsed structure. The state government has since ordered that all development projects in the Highborough area be placed on hold pending an audit and integrity tests. According to documents obtained by the Punch newspaper, Lagos State has recorded a staggering 115 building collapses in the past 10 years. In 2022 alone, the state recorded 20 incidents of building collapse.
Okay, thanks, Yetunde. I'm sure Jide will have a strong opinion on that issue of the legality of all these structural collapses. So let's have the next story, Yetunde.
On Peter Obi's detention at London Heathrow Airport, a case of impersonation. On Wednesday, the head Obi Dati Media, Deron Onifade, announced that the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, was on Good Friday, April 7, 2023, detained in London by UK immigration officials over alleged impersonation. The Labour Party spokesperson said while the party continues to examine any dubious or political motive on the part of the perpetrators of the identity theft, it's had every confidence in the ability of the British authorities to resolve the matter to a just conclusion.
Okay, thank you, Yetunde. And finally, let's talk about the race for the Senate presidency.
Okay, race for Senate presidency. No fewer than 4 northern senators have indicated an interest in the race for the Senate presidency, including senators from Kano, Niger, Zamfara, and the current Senate president, Ahmed Lawan, who is from Yobe State. The emergence of any of these contenders opens up the possibility of the number 1, 2, and 3 citizens of the country all being Muslim. Party chieftains of the APC in the South-South and Southeast have called for the zoning if the Senate presidency to their regions in the spirit of fairness and to give other geopolitical regions a sense of belonging in view of the Muslim-Muslim presidential tickets adopted by the parties. All yours, Dio.
Okay, all right. So those are the headlines that we'll be looking at today. We'll take a short break, and when we return, I'll be joined by my guest in the studio. Stay with us, don't go away.
Hello, Alhaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello, Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I will just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we are in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country. Corruption, not in my country.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. In the spirit of still being lighthearted, I wanted to congratulate Dino Melaye for winning the PDP primary. So if he does succeed and goes all the way to the governorship lodge, it means we'll have a dancing governor on the one hand and a singing governor on the other hand. Can you imagine what it will be like at a meeting of the Nigeria Governors Forum with those two in the house? Boy, interesting times ahead. All right, Nigeria, my guest today, as I've introduced him before, is Jide Ogundimu, who is a lawyer, solicitor and advocate of the Nigeria Supreme Court. Welcome to What's Your Take, Jide.
Thank you very much, Dayo, and thank you for having me on your program.
It's lovely to have you here today, and I think we'll have an interesting and engaging time, especially since many of the topics we mentioned have legal angles to them.
Certainly. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's look at the Adamawa rerun. I'm sure you've been following that, or at least you're aware of what happened in Adamawa yesterday in terms of the primary issue, of course, is that the resident electoral commissioner announced a winner while results were still being expected from 10 local governments, and it's not even the REC's job to announce any winner. That is the job of the returning officer. So INEC has nullified the declaration and called an emergency meeting in Abuja today. Of course, it's open season on the REC, and everybody's wondering, what was he thinking? Was he coerced? Was he bribed? What was he trying to do? What do you think in terms of electoral laws? Are they written in such a way to avoid a hijack of the process as tried to happen yesterday? What does the law, how would the law address such an issue? I've heard people saying he should go to jail. I've heard some say he should be hanged, drawn, and quartered. I mean, what exactly do you make of all this today?
It's unfortunate that you're having a situation like this, especially with the female candidates, who, if she does win the election, will end up becoming the first elected female governor of a state in Nigeria. What you have here is that you have the resident electoral officer, commissioner,
yes,
who has usurped the powers of INEC. What should really be happening? Apparently, the Electoral Act of 2022, 66 and 65, those sections provide that the returning officer, who is or who should be nominated by INEC, should be the one announcing the results. But what you had here, well, you had this gentleman, the resident electoral officer, suddenly announcing
the returning officer.
The returning, well, yeah, the resident electoral officer.
You're right.
Suddenly announcing these results for no reason, when it should really have been carried out by INEC. Now, INEC now believe that their powers have been usurped and have decided to cancel the election, which is unfortunate for this lady. But however, it's a bit funny here, and the reason why I'm saying it's a bit funny was that the PDP candidate, who is the incumbent governor,
yes,
Fintiri,
yes,
had been leading,
yes,
and suddenly, without any warning, you have this residential electoral officer announcing that the winner is now Binali. So it's a bit confusing, because then suddenly, I mean, votes suddenly appeared from nowhere. And then not just that, there were still, you know, as you rightly said, there were still about 10 local governments.
Yes, whose results hadn't been...
Who hadn't come out yet. Yes. And so I just find it, I mean, you rightly said, and I said, I'm a lawyer, it's not right for me to suddenly say that, oh, he's been bribed or whatever. I would love us to get to the bottom of it at some stage. And yes, they were probably right in them ensuring that there's an emergency meeting in Abuja to sort these things out. But one thing I would not like to see is another re-election. Because it is an election, it's costing taxpayer money. Elections are extremely expensive. And the last thing you want to do is to, I mean, I'm not too sure who really won the election, but March 12th, it was null and void, and then suddenly you're now getting last Saturday, null and void. I mean, where does it stop?
Where does it end? Yeah,
where does it end?
Absolutely.
So we hope that things will be sorted out in Abuja. Let's hope that the election is not rerun again for the third time.
Yes, my worry ultimately is that even if Binani ends up being declared the winner, her victory will be tainted, because people will look at what has happened now and think that it was a manufactured victory, and that might not be fair to her. And this is my concern, is that how does she get justice? Or even if Fintiri, who was leading, ends up being declared, there are some who will cry foul and say, but Binani had been declared. So either way, it's not going to be a clean outcome.
I think we can, I mean, INEC are meant to be competent and reputable. I mean, they're meant to be independent, and that's what they call the Independent National Electoral Commission. If they, I mean, because they cancelled it, and if they find that there was no foul play involved in the election, and if she is successful, that is Binali, and if they announce that she is the rightful winner, then I don't think there should be any problem at all. I don't think so at all. If anything at all, I think, yeah, I mean, Finitri should accept defeat if he is defeated, and allow the gentle lady to take her place as governor.
Very good. So Nigeria will continue to wait to see if we'll get our first elected female governor in the history of Nigerian politics. All right. Jide, Banana Island 7-story building collapses. 155 buildings collapsed in Lagos in the last 10 years. 20-something odd in 2022 alone. We remember the one in Ikoyi with the 4-score building, the tower, 1 out of 3 that came down and killed several dozens of people, including the developer himself. What do you think is responsible for these building collapses? The Lagos State government is saying the Banana Island building didn't have an approval. But if you say a building does not have an approval and yet you see work commence, you see the first floor go up, you see the second, the third, the fourth, buildings don't spring up to 7 floors overnight. They are a progressive development. And the Lagos State Building Control Agency has offices all over the place. So they're seeing this thing going up. Is it that they're not inspecting? Is it that they're not asking questions? Or is it that they've been compromised in some way? What can be done to arrest the spate of building collapses as causing loss of valuable human life?
Yes, it's funny you said this because this is a very complex topic, because I had actually written an article about this several years ago.
Okay.
And in fact about 10 years ago to be precise. And the reason why the article was written was because there were lots of building collapses in Lagos State. I'm not just talking about the Banana Island or the Ikoyis. Yeah. We're talking about
across the entire state.
Across the entire state, there were places in Mushin, Agege, whereby when the rains came, they were collapsing and killing loads of people. And lots of people were being injured. And so I decided to write this article. To be fair with the Lagos State government, they did bring out some legislation under the Fashola government, and this was this actually created an agency called the Lagos State Building Control Agency. The role of that agency is to ensure that building control or building control and building plan is complied with. So say for instance, if you are a builder and you build something like what you want in Victoria, in Banana Island, the first thing you need to do is obviously get planning permission. Now, the role of the Lagos State Building Control Agency is to ensure that this, planning is complied with. The right materials are used. If the right materials are
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, the truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the president of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world. A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it, so that you can understand it.
there's